What's up guys? A few days ago I released a video talking about Kobe Bryant's death. Click up in the corner to talk about it. Basically it was talking about the lesson that I learned from his life and career, and that lesson was to quit hating on players, at least hating on players in irrational ways during their career. For me, I hated on Kobe a lot throughout his career irrationally due to being a Suns fan, and I missed out on a lot of it until it was really too late. Let's talk about one of the players who received the most hate, one of the most hated athletes of the 2010s, and that would be Kevin Durant. Today we're going to be talking about Kevin Durant signing with the Golden State Warriors, his torn Achilles, and his apparent redemption arc with the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to be talking about this overall cycle of hate that has followed him. This is the evolution of hate and Kevin Durant.
Memphis has had an answer all night. A quick 6-0 run. Allen got a piece of that one. Almost out of bounds. Somehow Durant lets it go. Kevin Durant! A chance at four.
Cephalosha will throw in. Here is Durant for the win.
When you didn't eat, you made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.
During his time in OKC, Kevin Durant grew into one of the most likable players in the league. In 2014, his heartfelt, emotional MVP speech captivated fans of all teams. Durant even had a chance to dethrone another hated athlete, that being LeBron James, but he couldn't close it out in a 5-game final series. In 2016, the Thunder had a 3-1 lead on the infamous 73-win Golden State Warriors team, a victory and a blowout victory at that, defeating the best team of all time, possibly even defeating LeBron James in a finals rematch. Could have made Durant the undisputed face of the league. As we all know, that never happened. The Warriors won the last 3 games of the series, making a 3-1 comeback, leaving the Thunder both frustrated and devastated. This was an important offseason not only for Kevin Durant and the Thunder, but for league history. While Durant was loved in Oklahoma City, even having a restaurant dedicated to him not far away from Chesapeake Arena, things were far from peachy with Durant and the Thunder organization. It all started in 2012 where the Thunder refused to offer 6th Man of the Year winner James Harden a max contract. Instead, they were trying to lowball him and try to avoid paying luxury taxes with him. Much of this to Durant's disarray. Harden was then traded for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, and 2 first-round picks, with one of them becoming Steven Adams. Lamb remained in OKC for 3 years, Martin was there for only 1. Beyond that, injury-riddled years for both Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, as well as the Thunder coming up short multiple times in the playoffs, created tension between Durant and the organization. And by the 2016 offseason, it was not unheard of for players to leave teams or for star players to leave teams, and Durant, being a frustrated superstar, was ready to put his name on that list. A few teams in the offseason that Durant was expected to go to would include, of course, re-signing with the Thunder, his hometown Washington Wizards with Bradley Beal and John Wall, the Lakers because the Lakers always sign every big free agent apparently, the Spurs, who Durant had rivaled with before but were a new look, now housing a star Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge, or the Boston Celtics, a team with a red-hot coach and a solid surrounding car that just needed a superstar to get them over the top. Instead, we all know what happened. In the most infamous move in sports history, Durant betrayed his Thunder, leaving them for the team that he had blown a lead to, joining the Golden State Warriors. Instantly, Durant became the most hated player and enemy number 1 of the league, and fake Twitter accounts didn't help him either. And this is the moment where Kevin Durant became hated by the masses. If he had re-signed with the Thunder, or even gone to Boston or Washington, his legacy and his impact in the league would not nearly be as bad as it is today. Instead, Durant chose the easy way out with the Warriors. A few years passed since his signing, they win 2 of their 3 finals, all while the hate only grows. That being until June 10th, 2019, Game 5 of the 2019 NBA Finals. Durant dribbles to the right, tries to make a move, and that's when Serge Ibaka rips the ball from him. Kevin Durant goes down grabbing his right leg. A few days later, it was announced that Durant had torn his right Achilles tendon. For those of you that don't know, the Achilles tendon is a vital tendon in the heel and back of your ankle. And while a tear is quite rare, it can also be a pretty dramatic and serious injury. Many players who have torn their Achilles never return back to the game or do so as a former shell of themselves. Dominique Wilkins and possibly Klay Thompson remain as the one player in NBA history most people actually give credit towards for fully returning after an Achilles tear. In 2 years after his injury, he was scoring 29 points per game and then 26 points per game respectively. Before he started to show actual decline, by then he was already 35 years old. But 1 year after Durant's injury, his contract was up. Rather than re-signing, he opted to join Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. Durant cited a few reasons as he felt like it was time for a change, and as I quote, "As time went on, I started to realize that I'm just different from the rest of the guys." He admitted to not always liking the Warriors' motion offense, and he did also admit that there was tension between him and Draymond Green. Now talking about the hate surrounding Kevin Durant is getting complicated. He left the Oklahoma City Thunder to form the most overpowered team in the history of the sport. He then suffered the most devastating injury an athlete can receive, and then left the Warriors after 3 seasons looking for another team to form his legacy. Well, one thing for certain is he definitely isn't hated in the same way. It also doesn't help that his first game as a Net, he defeated the Warriors in a 26-point blowout, scoring 22 points in 26 minutes. But in his first game back, instead of calling him a snake or a cupcake, many fans rejoiced to seeing the old Kevin Durant, effortlessly scoring, dunking on opponents, rising up over guys like they weren't even there. Between his Achilles tear and now, Kevin Durant has also won a gold medal in the 2020 Olympic Games and has put up one of the greatest playoff performances in history in a dramatic 7-game series against the 2021 champion Milwaukee Bucks. From evidence that I've been able to gather online, it generally appears that the hate towards Kevin Durant has died from what it once was. For some, the Achilles tear really put things into perspective, something I will go to a bit more in a second. For others, it was watching him win a gold medal for Team USA, a team that struggled mightily in the Olympics. For some, it was watching him play against the Milwaukee Bucks and really have to carry a team like that. Everyone has their own levels for what it really takes to forgive or stop hating Durant, but it seems like he has generally made it up the last few years. So let's flash back to the point that I was talking about the Achilles tear really quick. As I mentioned, it is incredibly rare for a player to recover from such an injury, especially one as a 7-foot player such as Durant. For the 16-month period he was gone, it really did put things in perspective. I think many of us never expected Durant would return to his former self. The days of OKC Durant are gone, and our last memories are of hating him. That would suck. Durant has one of the most unique skill sets in history and can do things that no other player has been able to do. From a pure talent standpoint, it would be awful for the game to lose with someone with such a unique generational talent. Even if you're someone like me and you don't like the Warriors, or if you don't like Durant on the Warriors, go back and just watch some of the highlights with a bit more of a clean palette, because goddamn, this guy is insane. There's an argument to be made that he was even better in Golden State than he was in Oklahoma City. He developed his game to become more of a shot blocker, a better rim protector, just a better overall defender, something we definitely didn't really talk about him in OKC. So what is my point here? Well, first, is he still hated? In my general opinion, it doesn't seem like Durant is still hated, at least not in the same way. I'm sure there are still some Thunder fans out there or LeBron fans. Those groups still kind of make sense, but generally from what I've seen, majority of NBA fans do not hate Kevin Durant in the same way that we used to. I think this was largely due to his Achilles tear. I think that scare of never really seeing him at his prime again really made some people actually kind of cherish what we had. So to follow that up, is Durant's legacy fixed now that he's in Brooklyn? Despite him returning to a more favorable light, I still don't see Durant gaining anything. His 2 rings in Golden State are still some of the weakest in history, and while no one can take away from him that he is an NBA champion, his championship path is far easier than most. Winning a championship in Brooklyn would be different, as he is a more clear star and even an MVP candidate with how he's been playing this season. Durant may see some sort of better reputation around the league, but his legacy has yet to recover. Alright guys, that is it for this one. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe down below. That's it for this one, and I'll catch you guys later.